Hello, greetings. How you guys doing? I hope that you guys are having a great Wednesday or Thursday, depending on wherever you are located in the world. Um, wow. I want to talk to you about, I was looking at a video of Angela Rye. I don't know if you guys know who Angela Rye is. She is, I guess if you want to call her, um, a wannabe activist, or she's a part of the so-called black media, and she has been trying to raise awareness about the realities of racism in the United States of America. Um, I've never heard of the young lady until recently because, yeah, she's a Democrat through and through, as is a lot of African Americans. And she's, I guess, during the campaign, she pushed us voting for Kamala Harris hard. And I guess she really believed that Kamala Harris would win the election. And she's literally, since the election, has been heartbroken. She's had several meltdowns online. Um, and here it is, almost 1 month after the election. And it's literally like she's still in shock. Like she really doesn't understand what's happening, how it happened, why it happened. And she's just all over the place, highly emotional, um, literally to the point of tears. Um, I haven't seen a lot of those videos I did a few weeks ago, right immediately after the election. We all saw a bunch of videos of just, your average everyday voter person really, really emotional and disappointed over the outcome of the election. But here it is 30 days later, and you have somebody who says she represents the cause of the black people in America, speaks up for black people in America. And she's still crying over the Kamala Harris not winning. And it's like, I just shook my head and scratched my head, and I'm like, what's wrong with her? Why is she like this? Why is she like not well? I can't explain it. But wow. So yeah, I decided to do some research on Miss Rye because I was curious about this woman. I'm like, what kind of woman allows herself to have a total emotional meltdown, breakdown online, not over something that you should be emotional about, but I don't know. It's like she was emotional. It's like she's in a state of delusion. Okay. And it turns out that she's been doing this for a long time. Speaking out on racism, getting highly emotional over the reality of racism and um, the denial of most Caucasian people. They will outright deny that they're racist. They will outright deny the existence of systemic racism. And they will make anybody who speaks out on these things look like a total fumbling, irrational, mental idiot. And that's what they've successfully have done with Miss Rye. And it's unfortunate because it's number one, it's embarrassing as hell. It's like, okay, we don't have enough voices out there as it is speaking out on racism. But the few voices that are saying, are trying, or at least are willing to be confrontational with Caucasians about their racism, we don't need that person to be like portrayed as a crazy lady or an overly emotional lady or off balance or off kilter. And that's what she looks like right now. Is racism something that could make you very emotional? Yes, I totally get it. Um, are some of the heinous, cruel, evil, wicked acts of racism something that will bring you to tears? Yes, yes. But I want to talk to the Angela Rise in this world. I want to talk to the wannabe activists in this world. I want to talk to the ineffective activists and the irrelevant activists. I want to talk to you because most of you are melanated people, and I think that you started out wanting to do something to help your people. I get it, and I applaud you for that. I applaud you for at least wanting to be a voice for the people and you wanting to speak out on the behalf of melanated people. So I will give you that. Thank you. Thank you. But you have to understand and realize some things. You have to understand and realize that those people don't care. They don't care about racism. They don't care about the realities of racism. They don't care about the people that are oppressed, that are profiled, that are traumatized, that are objectified, sexualized, overly sexualized, and tortured and murdered even. They don't care. They will continue to deny everything that you throw at them, everything that you try to confront them with, even though the reality is right there, even though the evidence proves otherwise, even though it's as plain as the nose on our faces that they're guilty, but they'll never ever acknowledge it. They have become masters of deflection. So confronting them about racism and attempting to educate them about the statistics of racism and the prevalence thereof and the demographics, all that, that statistics that you pop up with, all the pie charts and all of the data, they don't care. They manipulate the data. They manipulate and hide and get rid of the history and the data that proves the realities of racism, systemic racism, chattel slavery, and everything in between. They suppress that knowledge, and then they deflect. They've done it for so long. They've perfected the art of deflection. They've perfected the art of being in denial about racism. They've perfected the art about pretending and acting and living and coagulating and fraternizing and working and churching and everything that they do. They've set it up so that they don't have to face their sins. They don't have to face their crimes. They don't have to admit that there's anything as a real thing. Systemic racism is not a real thing. They don't have to admit to anything because they've been doing it for so long. They've been deflected for so long. They've perfected it so much and so well that they will succeed in making you seem like you're the crazy one for even trying to bring it up. They've deflected this so perfectly that they will make it easy for someone to dismiss the person as emotionally off balance and off kilter. And please understand something. If you do this work or try to do this work for any length of time and you don't come to that realization that they don't care and that they have systems in place to suppress the truth about the existence and the propagation and the wholesale support of systemic racism, they've perfected the art of ignoring its reality. And they've also perfected the art of making the people who bring it to your attention or who try to confront you of the racism, they've done a really wonderful job at making those people look like they're crazy, that they're off, that they're bitter, that they're angry. So, my question to you guys is this: knowing all of this that I brought to you, how effective do you think you are at what you do? You're ineffective and irrelevant at what you do because you're trying to appeal to the sense of right and wrong and the oppressors. And they don't have a sense of right and wrong. They're straight devils. And, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and not expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity. And I'm here to tell you, my brothers, my sisters, you're driving yourselves insane trying to get these people to admit to any type of complicity in the propagation of systemic racism. They never will. They never will do it. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to continue to do the same thing over and over again? Am I going to continue to vote the same way? The way that I have and my people have and my ancestors have? Yet I don't see that. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And this is not an attack on Angela Rye per se. I'm trying to speak to the Angela Rye types. The people who identify as minority or of African descent, maybe, or African American, I should put it, maybe not of African descent, because a lot of African Americans are ashamed of their African descent and heritage and deny it. But I won't get into that right now. But there are a lot of people, African Americans, they recognize racism, they recognize the inequities, the inequality, the oppression, the suppression, and the outright harassment and violence and violation of human rights that we as people, melanated people, go through in America. And they feel compelled or inspired to try to do something to change that. And it's just that it's my belief that the majority of us are aware of the reality of racism, but we all have a different idea and perspective on how to deal with that racism. Or some of us choose not to deal with it at all, and we just want to be in our own little world. We want to be in denial. It's too painful to come to the reality that, hey, after everything that we've gone through as a people, after all of the education that we've accomplished, all the accomplishments and inventions and all of the things that we've overcome as a people, the African American community, after pretty much building a country while we were slaves and oppressed and uneducated, we still are the most hated, the most oppressed, the most persecuted people in the world. And we don't, I think what happened is because they threw some snacks, some benefits at African Americans, maybe during the 70s, 80s, perhaps even 90s, maybe, that we forgot that we're still in America and that we're still considered 3/5 of a human. We forgot that slavery is legal in some states in America. Here it is almost 2025. It's called the prison industrial complex. We forgot that racism is still alive and well, and our oppressors get great pleasure out of reminding us that we are nothing but
You know that word that just set y'all off? We nothing but niggas. We nothing but And I think that this election has woken a lot of people up to the reality that no matter how much we cry to our oppressors, no matter how much we try to appeal to their sense of morality and ethics and right and wrong, and even to their religion, because a lot of them are religious, and we think that, hey, because somebody is religious means that they're always right and they're always going to do what's right. And that's wrong, because we see, as in the case of evangelicals could be very devout and they can love their God and they can go to church, they can be very religious and have a lot of religious activity, and they can still walk out of their church and oppress you. Still walk out of their church and be racist. Still walk out of their church and oppress you and suppress your human rights and vote for and fund and invest in institutions and organizations and government systems that will continue to keep people in racial bondage.